Thursday had no shortage of interesting starting pitchers. Let's talk about them next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Friday, April 30th. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White, and let's start with those starting pitchers. Shane McClanahan made his debut against the Oakland A's. 4 innings pitched with 5 strikeouts. Adbert Alzolay versus the Braves. 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. Yusei Kikuchi, 7 shutout against the Astros. Kyle Gibson, 5 straight quality starts now. Dylan Cease, 7 shutout with 9 strikeouts. Scott, if you had to choose 1 or 2, who is your favorite from this group on Thursday?
Oh man, you're limiting me to 1 or 2, huh? Look, there's the talent argument, and then there's the how useful do I really think they're going to be argument. In terms of talent, Shane McClanahan really stood out in a very loud way. 15 swinging strikes on just 59 pitches. That is an insane swinging strike rate. And his fastball was peaking at 100.5 miles per hour. I think Jeff Passan pointed out that if McClanahan is able to sustain this, he'll be the hardest throwing left-handed starting pitcher ever. But he pitches for the Rays, and he's a rookie, and that's a mix that I think is going to yield a lot of 4-inning starts. And so I just don't know how often you'll really be able to use him, particularly in shallower leagues. So I'm actually going to go with Kyle Gibson, starting to trust in that a little more. And obviously he is getting the kind of workload that makes him useful. So he'll be number 1 for me. I like Adbert Alzolay. The fact he's now leading with his slider, he's using it more and more. It's like his primary pitch now, and he didn't even have it 2 years ago. So he's created this new best pitch, and he's making heavy use of it. So I think Adbert Alzolay is going to be good. You know what? I'll go Yusei Kikuchi as the 3rd one. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but I think more ups than downs. And I think especially when you look at the expected stats for him last year, you get the feeling Kikuchi could become a pretty good pitcher.
A starting pitcher that might be available in deeper leagues, Luis Garcia against the Mariners on Thursday. 5 innings of 1-run ball, 6 strikeouts. Jake Odorizzi dealing with a forearm strain, Scott. So where, if anywhere, do you need to add Luis Garcia?
All right, let me just rank them all.
Do it.
In terms of how likely I am to pick them up. I will go Yusei Kikuchi number 1, actually. I'll go Kyle Gibson 2, Adbert Alzolay 3, Shane McClanahan 4, Dylan Cease 5. Dylan Cease, by the way, picked up like 150 RPM in his fastball in this start against the Tigers, and that was something they were working on with him. So maybe it's the start of something. Skepticism is understandable, but maybe it's the start of something. And then 6, I'll go Luis Garcia, who looks very interesting himself, but he would be 6th on this list.
Let's get people ready for week 6 in fantasy baseball, Scott, and we'll get things started with a few 2-start pitchers that you like heading into next week.
So Kyle Gibson himself is in line for 2 starts, 1 against the Mariners. That's good. Someone I like even more, though, and he's more widely available, is Jake Junas, who 3 of his last 4 starts have been very impressive with a new cutter, getting a lot of whiffs with that. One of his 2 starts is against Cleveland, which is a good matchup. The other against the White Sox, not so great, but that's okay. You'll take him in the 2-start week. Domingo Hermann lines up for 2 starts, coming off his best 2 starts of the season. The matchups, Astros and Nationals, they could be better, but I think he's earned the leeway there. Kind of the deeper guy that you might consider looking into is Nick Pavetta. He's coming off his best start. He's been getting some swings and misses on the slider. The walks are kind of high, but the matchups are the Tigers and the Orioles. So I'm not saying Nick Pavetta is a must, but if you want to dig deep, he's probably my preferred choice of the deep options.
All right, too many pitchers. Let's show some love to the hitters. Who are some sleeper hitters that you like heading into next week who are rostered in less than 70% of CBS leagues?
So Jesus Aguilar has homered 5 times in his past 6 games, and it just so happens the Marlins have good matchups this week against the Diamondbacks and Brewers. The only tough pitcher they're facing is Zach Gallen in a 6-game week, so I like him. I also like CJ Crone. He's been hot. 3 of his games this week will be in Coors Field. The Twins actually have the best matchup, and as of now, all 7 of the opposing pitchers are right-handed, which works out very well for Luis Arias. Left-handed hitter with better numbers against righties and tends to bat leadoff against righties. I've been waiting for a week like this for him. Maybe you consider Alex Kirilloff too for similar reasons. I like JD Davis's matchups. Austin Riley's matchups are good enough that maybe you stick with the hot hand at him. And those would probably be my favorites.
A really interesting week for some corner infielders there. And of course, you mentioned Luis Arias as well. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. If you enjoyed the pod, please leave a 5-star review on Apple. We'll be back again on Monday morning. Bye-bye.